Gentlemen, brothers, warriors, today is not about being liked. Today is about respect. And respect is not something you beg for, it's something you command. And how do you do that? By drawing the line. Not with anger, not with ego, but with absolute, unshakable boundaries, my brothers. Listen to me. Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you command. Through how you show up, what you stand for, and most importantly, the boundaries you set. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to fight to prove your strength. You need to decide right here, right now, what you will and will not allow in your life. That's the power of boundaries. That's the foundation of masculine respect. Respect for your time. Time is the one currency you never get back. Men respect the man who respects his own time. Don't be the guy who says yes to everything, who's available 24/7, who lives in reaction. Be intentional, be strategic. When you show that your time is valuable, other men will treat it that way too. If they don't, that's not your tribe, that's dead weight. Emotional integrity. Here's the truth, being stoic doesn't mean being numb. It means knowing your emotions without letting them own you. A real man is honest about what he feels, but disciplined in how he expresses it. Don't let anger become your language. Don't let silence become your prison. Speak your truth. With strength, clarity, and purpose, that kind of emotional boundary, it commands deep respect. Standards in relationships. Too many men compromise who they are to please others, especially in romantic relationships. Listen to me, never shrink yourself to fit into someone else's life. Set a standard for how you want to be treated, and stick to it. That means no tolerating disrespect, manipulation, or games. You teach people how to treat you. Set the tone, lead with love but lead with strength, no tolerance for disrespect. You train the world with every interaction. If someone crosses a line, call it out, not with violence, not with ego, but with absolute certainty. Hey, that doesn't work for me. That one sentence, spoken with conviction, can shift the energy in any room. Respect isn't about dominance, it's about self-honor. And when you honor yourself, the world takes notice. Protection of your mission as a man, your purpose is sacred. It's the fire that fuels you. Protect it, guard it. Don't let distractions, toxic environments, or energy drainers pull you away. When a man is aligned with his mission, he becomes magnetic. Other men see it, they feel it, and they respect it. Your mission isn't just what you do. It's who you are when you're fully alive. Listen, the world doesn't need more men trying to be liked. The world needs men who live by principles, who walk into a room and don't need to say a word, but their presence speaks volumes. That kind of presence, that level of quiet strength, it doesn't come from muscles or money. It comes from alignment, from a man who's drawn a line in the sand and said, "This is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is what I won't tolerate." Let's go deeper. Respect for your time is more than just saying no. It's building a life around what truly matters. You've got 24 hours like every other man on this planet. But what separates those who rise from those who drift is focus. Do you protect your mornings? Do you guard your energy like a warrior? If you don't set the boundary, life will fill your calendar with everyone else's agenda. A respected man lives by design, not by default. Emotional integrity, that's not weakness. It's power. Any guy can explode when he's pissed off. That's easy. But the man who can sit with his feelings, own them, and channel them into purposeful action. That man is a leader. He doesn't suppress. He transforms. That boundary says, I refuse to let emotion dictate my destiny, but I won't run from it either. That earns respect because it requires maturity. It's what separates boys from men and relationships. My God, this one's big. Too many men give their power away for attention, for approval, for validation. But when a man knows his worth, when he holds his standard and doesn't flinch, that changes the game. You don't chase love, you radiate it. You don't beg to be chosen. You choose yourself every single day. And when you do, the right people rise to meet you. The wrong ones fall away, and that's how it should be. Disrespect, non-negotiable. You want to know what a boundary really is? It's a self-respect filter. It's how you teach the world what's allowed in your presence. When someone crosses that line, whether it's a friend, a boss, a partner, you don't explode, you don't run. You simply say, that doesn't align with who I am. And if they walk away, let them. The cost of keeping peace with others should never be the price of war with yourself. And finally, your mission. Your purpose, it's everything. This world is full of distractions, entertainment, comfort, numbness, but you weren't put here just to survive. You were born to build, to lead, to create impact. And you can't do that if your boundaries are wide open, if you let every little thing steal your focus. Lock in, get obsessed with your growth. Say no to anything that dims your fire. When a man lives on mission, respect isn't even a question. It's inevitable. Let me leave you with this. Boundaries don't push people away. They pull the right people in. The world will test you. People will challenge you. But every time you enforce a boundary, every time you choose principle over popularity, every time you walk in alignment, you grow. You evolve, you rise, and the men around you, they won't just respect you. They'll be inspired by you because you didn't just talk it. You lived it. So go out and be that man. Listen, the truth is, boundaries aren't just rules you set for others, they're commitments you make to yourself. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your purpose, you say yes to your power. Every time you protect your time and energy, you're investing in the man you want to become. This is not a game of convenience. This is a game of honor. Honor to your mission, to your values, and most importantly, to your own soul. You see, most men wander through life hoping respect will just fall in their lap. But respect is earned every single day in the small choices, the invisible battles, the moments when no one is watching. It's not about being loud or aggressive. It's about being solid, grounded, unwavering. When you hold your boundaries, you send a message louder than words that you matter, that your dreams matter, that your time is non-negotiable, and I want you to really hear this. Boundaries don't shut people out, they create space. Space for growth. Space for genuine connection. When you respect yourself, you teach others how to respect you. When you have clear limits, you attract people who value you on a deeper level, people who match your energy, your ambition, your commitment. But here's the kicker, none of this comes without discomfort. Saying no when everyone expects you to say yes, protecting your time when others demand your attention, standing firm on your values when the world pressures you to conform. It's hard, it's uncomfortable, it will test you, but that's exactly what makes it powerful. Growth lives in discomfort, respect lives in discomfort, and the man who conquers discomfort conquers himself. So stop apologizing for your boundaries, stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You don't need anyone's permission to live life on your terms. The moment you accept that, you step into your true power. The moment you live in integrity with your boundaries, you become magnetic. Doors open, opportunities come, and respect flows naturally. This is about rewriting the story you tell yourself. No more being the nice guy who sacrifices his peace for fleeting approval. No more being the people pleaser who loses himself in the noise. You are the leader of your life. You decide what's acceptable and what's not. You set the standard and then you hold it high. Every day, remind yourself that respecting your boundaries is an act of self-love and strength. It's the foundation of everything you want: respect, trust, success, love. So don't wait for the perfect moment to set those boundaries. The perfect moment is now. Draw the line, stand tall, and watch the world rise to meet the man you are becoming. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of a life lived on your terms. And the only thing standing between you and that life is the courage to set your boundaries and never back down. Now go claim it, own it, live it. You've got to understand this: boundaries are the invisible architecture of your life. Without them, your foundation crumbles, you become scattered, drained, and directionless. But with boundaries, you build a fortress of focus and freedom. You protect your energy from being sucked dry by distractions, drama, and people who don't have your best interests at heart. Every man who has ever made an impact, who's ever earned respect on a grand scale, has done so because he guarded his inner world fiercely, because he said no to what was easy, comfortable, or expected, and yes to what was right, challenging, and aligned with his vision. And here's the truth nobody tells you: the more you grow, the harder it gets to keep those boundaries, because people around you will resist your growth. They'll test your limits. They'll push and prod, hoping to pull you back into their comfort zone. But you don't give in. You don't negotiate your peace for approval. You stand firm like a mountain in the storm. Remember this: every time you honor your boundaries, you're sending a message to your subconscious mind that you are worthy of respect. And that message ripples out. It changes how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you act. Confidence isn't just about what you say, it's about what you refuse to let happen. So when you hold the line on your time, your values, your energy, you raise your standards. And as you raise your standards, you elevate your life. You attract better relationships, better opportunities, better everything. The man who respects himself doesn't just survive, he thrives, he leads. He inspires, he becomes a beacon for others who want to level up their lives too. But it starts with you. It starts with one decision, one boundary, one moment of saying, enough, this is who I am and I'm not settling for less. So take that step today. Draw that line clearly and confidently, because respect doesn't come from luck or chance. It comes from clarity and conviction. And when you live with clarity and conviction, respect is inevitable. Now, rise up. Step into the power of your boundaries. Become the man who commands respect without asking for it. The man who lives on his own terms, unshakable and unstoppable. This is your time, your life, your legacy. Own it, live it, be it. Gentlemen, before we dive deeper, I want you to take a moment and look inward. How often do you feel like your life is dictated by the demands, expectations, or opinions of others? How often do you catch yourself saying yes when every cell in your body screams no? How often do you wake up exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from the man you know you're meant to be? That stops today. Because here's the secret: the quality of your life, your relationships, and your influence depends on the quality of the boundaries you set. Boundaries are the invisible lines that separate your values from the world's noise, your purpose from distraction, your power from depletion. Without them, you drift. With them, you steer with laser focus. Let me tell you something you need to hear: respect is not a prize you win by chance or charm. It is a currency you earn through how you protect yourself and your life. And that currency is paid by setting and enforcing the 5 essential boundaries every man needs to command respect. First, let's talk about your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. It's the currency with which you buy your future, your legacy, your freedom. When you give your time away without discernment, you give away your power. You tell the world, my time is cheap. And the world will respond accordingly. Think about this: every successful man you admire, whether it's a business leader, an athlete, or a family man, has one thing in common. He guards his time fiercely. He schedules his days with intention, protects his mornings, says no to distractions, and surrounds himself with people who value his hours. If you want respect, you have to demand it by mastering your schedule. That means learning to say no without guilt. It means blocking off time for your priorities, whether that's growth, health, family, or rest. It means turning off your phone, closing your email, and shutting out the noise when you need to focus. But here's the challenge: saying no is hard. The world teaches you to say yes. Yes to every meeting, every favor, every distraction. Why? Because it makes you available, and that's easier for others to control. But the man who commands respect is not available 24/7. He is selective, he is purposeful, and that creates scarcity. Scarcity creates value, value creates respect. So start today. Take control of your calendar. Own your time. Protect your hours like a lion guards his territory. Because when you do, you don't just earn respect, you become unstoppable. Next, let's dive into not tolerating disrespect. Respect starts with how you allow others to treat you. People will test your boundaries, push your buttons, and try to step on your toes. It's human nature, but the difference between a man who earns respect and a man who gets walked over is how he responds to disrespect. Let me be clear, tolerating disrespect is a death sentence for your self-worth. It chips away at your confidence, your clarity, and your presence, and it sends a message, loud and clear, that you don't value yourself enough to stand up. But commanding respect doesn't mean being aggressive or confrontational. It means being firm, calm, and clear. When someone crosses the line, you don't yell or lose control. You set the boundary with confidence and dignity. Picture a lion. When his pride is threatened, he doesn't throw a tantrum. He growls, shows his teeth, and the threat backs off. You have that same power, the power to say this is not acceptable, without anger, without drama, but with absolute certainty. And this applies in every area of your life, at work, with friends, in relationships, even with family. When disrespect shows up, you address it immediately. You don't sweep it under the rug. You don't make excuses for others. You protect your dignity and demand respect, starting with yourself. Now, let's get real about saying no without guilt. One of the greatest mistakes men make is confusing kindness with weakness. They say yes because they want to be liked, accepted, or avoid conflict. But the truth is, every time you say yes when you mean no, you chip away at your authenticity. You have to learn that your no is a full sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation or justification. Saying no is a way of honoring your priorities, your energy, your values. It's a declaration that you are the steward of your life, not a servant to everyone else's demands. The man who commands respect knows the power of no. He says no to distractions, to toxic people, to opportunities that don't align with his goals. He says no to overcommitment, to burnout, to anything that drains his spirit. This is hard because the world tells you to say yes, to be agreeable, to sacrifice, to please. But respect comes to the man who owns his no, who says it clearly, kindly, and without apology, because that no protects his yes, the yes to the things that truly matter. The fourth boundary is one of the most important, not betraying your values for approval. You cannot build respect on a foundation of compromise. When you bend your values to fit in, you shrink. You become someone else's version of you instead of the real, powerful you. Men who command respect have unshakable principles. They know who they are, what they stand for, and they refuse to waver, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. They speak truth, act with integrity, and live authentically. This is where many men get lost. The pressure to conform is relentless. The fear of rejection, failure, or loneliness tempts you to lower your standards. But respect doesn't come from fitting in, it comes from standing out. When you live by your values, you attract people who resonate with your true self. You build relationships based on trust, respect, and shared vision. You become a man others want to follow, not because you're like them, but because you are real and unbreakable. So take stock. What are your core values? What lines will you never cross? What truths will you always speak? Guard these like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your integrity is your currency in the game of respect. Let me share with you a truth that too many men ignore. Boundaries are not a sign of weakness. They are the ultimate expression of strength. In a world that constantly demands more time, more energy, more approval, the man who sets boundaries says enough. He doesn't shout it, he lives it. He embodies a calm but fierce refusal to be anything less than his highest self. Imagine a world without boundaries. What would that look like? You'd be at the mercy of every demand, every distraction, every whim. You'd be a slave to other people's priorities, and what happens to a man in that situation? He loses himself. He becomes resentful, exhausted, and ineffective. And worst of all, he loses respect, not only from others, but from himself. But here's the flip side. When you set boundaries, you reclaim your sovereignty. You become the master of your own life. You say no to what doesn't serve you, so you can say yes to what matters. You don't just react to the world. You create your world. That's the essence of respect. It's not given, it's earned through self-mastery. Think about the men you respect most in your life or history. What sets them apart? It's not their talent alone or their charm. It's their ability to command respect through presence, integrity, and the strength of their boundaries. They don't let people walk all over them. They don't chase validation. They don't compromise their values for convenience. Take a moment to reflect on this. Every time you sacrifice your peace for approval, you trade respect for temporary acceptance. But respect doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being real, from being consistent, from having the courage to say what you mean what you say, and back it up with action. Let me give you a story. A man once came to me, frustrated and exhausted. He told me, "I'm doing everything for everyone else and no one respects me. They take advantage of me and I feel invisible." I asked him, "What boundaries have you set?" He looked at me confused. "Boundaries? I don't want to upset anyone." I said, "That's your problem. You think boundaries upset people. But the truth is, when you don't have boundaries, you upset yourself." We worked together to help him identify one boundary he could start enforcing immediately. He started by protecting his mornings. No distractions, no interruptions. Just time to focus on his goals and himself. It wasn't easy. People pushed back, but he held firm. Within weeks, everything changed. His energy returned. People started noticing. They respected his time and his presence more than ever before. And most importantly, he respected himself. This is what happens when you embrace boundaries. You don't lose friends, you gain respect. You don't lose opportunities, you gain clarity. You don't lose yourself, you become more fully you. Now, let's go deeper into protecting your time. Time is life's most precious resource. It's the only thing you cannot get back once it's spent. And yet, so many men give it away like it's endless. What's the difference between a man who commands respect and one who doesn't? It's his relationship with time. The respected man treats time like gold. He doesn't waste it on trivial things or toxic people. He knows that every minute wasted is a minute lost from his mission, his family, his growth. Here's a powerful exercise. Track your time for 3 days. Write down everything you do and how long it takes. Then ask yourself, where is my time going? Is it aligned with my values? Is it serving my purpose? Most men are shocked by the answer. They realize they're spending hours on things that don't matter. Scrolling social media, engaging in meaningless arguments, or saying yes to requests that drain them. The solution: create boundaries around your time. Schedule your day with intention. Protect your mornings, your work blocks, and your rest. Say no to distractions unapologetically. When you do this, you signal to the world that your time is non-negotiable. That you are a man on a mission, and men respect men who live like that. Let's talk more about not tolerating disrespect. Disrespect is a silent killer of self-worth. It creeps in slowly, disguised as jokes, passive aggression, or neglect. But make no mistake, disrespect destroys trust, confidence, and ultimately respect. You must become hyper, aware of how people treat you, and more importantly, how you allow them to treat you. Respect starts with your standards. What will you accept? What crosses the line when you tolerate disrespect? You're teaching others that your boundaries are weak, that your respect is cheap. But when you stand firm, even in small ways, you teach the world that you value yourself and demand the same. This doesn't mean you need to be confrontational or hostile. Respectful but firm communication is your weapon. Say things like, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," or "That's not acceptable to me." Practice this until it becomes natural, because respect follows those who hold themselves with dignity. Now, consider saying no without guilt. This is one of the hardest things to master. We live in a culture that glorifies sacrifice and people pleasing. But there's a big difference between generosity and martyrdom. When you say yes out of guilt, you drain your energy and compromise your priorities. That's not generosity, that's self-betrayal. To earn respect, you must be willing to say no. No to distractions, no to demands that don't align with your goals, no to anything that drains your spirit. Your no is a powerful tool. Use it wisely. Don't feel the need to over-explain or apologize. A simple, clear no protects your energy and your mission. And when you live this way, people start respecting you for your clarity and strength. Let's get real about not betraying your values for approval. This is where true courage is tested. When the pressure to conform mounts, when fear of rejection whispers in your ear, will you stand firm or bend? Values are the compass that guides every decision you make. Without them, you're lost in the chaos of other people's expectations. Men who command respect don't compromise on their core principles. They may adapt tactics, change strategies, but their values remain sacred. This authenticity attracts respect like a magnet because it signals integrity, reliability, and strength. Ask yourself, what are my non-negotiables? What am I willing to fight for? When you answer these questions, you build a foundation no storm can shake. Finally, the powerful truth about not chasing but attracting. Many men confuse hustle with chase. They think respect and success come from desperation and proving themselves. But the most magnetic men I've met are those who operate from alignment, presence, and power. When you embody your values, protect your time, say no with confidence, and don't tolerate disrespect, you create an energy that naturally draws people in. You become a man others want to follow, not because you begged, but because you commanded. Stop chasing approval, love, or opportunity. Instead, focus on becoming the man worthy of those things. Raise your standards, deepen your integrity, and watch as the right people and situations come to you effortlessly.